Hey guys, it's Iain from StopGaps Construction Services, and I just wanted to go through with you today a couple of little jobs that we're doing at the moment. We got a call from a client the other day saying that they had some joint sealant failure in a shed that they wanted to try and sell, and so we turned up and had a look at the joints, and it was pretty obvious to us why the joints had failed, because this building itself that you can see me in is only about 3 years old now. My expectation of the joint sealant in these tilt slabs, which are these big concrete slabs here, for those who don't know, these are poured on the ground, then erected, and then joint sealant or mastic is then put into these joints. Now this wall here is actually this wall is actually moved from this wall, so that's made the mastic flex, and in some points it's actually torn, and that tearing is called cohesive failure. And what that means is that the sealant can't deal with the amount of movement that the wall has actually produced. So one wall that the sealant is attached to has moved away from the other wall, and the flexibility in the sealant isn't enough for it to actually give that stretch, and it's actually torn all the way through the middle. Example A, or Exhibit A, you can see where the paint, this is sealant I've actually pulled out of that joint. You can see where it's actually torn, and that's evident by the paint being torn there as well. Now, the first thing I noticed when I pulled these joints out is that the ratio of mastic in the joint itself is not enough, which is why these have failed. So generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to have a lot more coverage on the wall, in between the two walls, than you do in the middle, and that's generally achieved by a coved surface. So you've got flexibility in the middle because it's a little bit thinner, versus a lot of grip on the wall. Now that's all fair and well, but when they're that thin, so that's a 50mm joint we're looking at, so generally speaking, depending on the type of material, you're looking at about a half the depth of the width type ratio. And again, that's subject to discussion because it depends on the material and what you're actually applying. But as a rule, you would generally have a lot more material in the middle here, which is why it's actually torn. And you might even change the material to something that, like we're going to put in here now, which is a hybrid sealant, which is a mix between polyurethane, silicone, and a bit of acrylic, and it stays flexible all the time, and it can be painted as well. So this is the job for today. This is the mastic that we've pulled out, and like I said, we've pulled all this mastic out of this joint here using a big scissor lift, and then we're going to reapply it to the correct depth. So we got a lot more coverage on this wall and this wall with a thinner ratio of mastic in the middle to allow for that flexibility to come, and as those walls flex. This wall here is actually got a massive bow in it, and yeah, it's not ideal, but that happens, and that's construction, unfortunately. Anyway guys, get on with it. Let's go. See ya.